Hey, welcome back, everyone, to Security IQ. Elisa Mueller here. Say hello, Min.
Hi, everybody. Min is here.
And we're back with Christina. I am not going to pronounce your last name.
Let me try last name right.
Say it for us. Say it one time for us.
With the Alexandropoulou is the Greek version. The American version is Alexander. So
Okay.
the U.S. passport has chopped it all up.
I'm going to stick with the Alexander. So Christina Alexander, who we heard from her earlier about an incident that she experienced while she was running security with one of the major hotel chains. Really interesting story. And if you are interested in connecting with her and getting a little bit more perspective on that story, click below and you can connect with Christina. But now we want to talk a little bit about diversity in the security space. Christina is residing in Greece. It's a completely different culture. There's definitely some nuances in terms of security and diversity. So we want to hear a little bit about that and what your experience has been so far.
And the role of women over there, that would be interesting.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's I'll tell you a little bit about how when I started here in Greece in security, how it was really way back then. That's over 15 years ago. So back then it was really very, very peculiar. And actually, even though I am still working in security today in a large hotel chain, it still is in some cases. So I think that the traditional Greek mindset does not portray a female in such a role, something that has to do with security or profit protection. So it is a challenge. Oh, there you go.
That's like that. Anyway, but they're not like that, but the Greek side. Anyway,
but they're Americanized. They're Americanized.
Americanized. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. But the truth is that yes, breaking into this field in this industry, and especially here in Greece, it was a big challenge, which is why I started from so many years ago to develop my network and to mentor even the younger generation, young women. I initiated the first Lean In Circle here in Greece for women in security over
That's
5
great.
years ago. I also am an active member on OZAC, the Overseas Security Advisory Council here in Greece. I'm actually on the steering committee here in Greece, active member of the ACES organization, Women in Security, SIA. In everything that I do, I try to develop my network. I try to be a mentor to the younger generation, and I try to make sure I pass on my experience. So I've learned from my failures. I want to be able to pass it on and also offer a new opportunity, a new future for a lot of the young women out there that wouldn't traditionally see security as a field in which they would enter. So great question that you asked earlier for diversity and security here in Greece. I'm telling you, it wasn't easy. It really wasn't easy.
I think you had told us once about a story. There was a gentleman that you were speaking to, and he had made a comment about you're in that position, or you're going for that position,
or something about the woman being the neck. And
yes,
oh, that's right.
That's the woman being the neck and the man being the head.
This is it. It's actually a very famous phrase, for anyone who's seen My Big Fat Greek Wedding, an all-time special of all Greek Americans all over the world. So yes, indeed, if you'll remember, it said, the man is the head, but the woman is the neck, which guides the head in the right direction. So indeed, I've had quite a few experiences, especially in the industry I'm in now in hospitality, where we have guests from all over the world. And I am meeting with guests on a daily basis. And, you'll get some shocking looks when I have, the private details of some large, some businessmen or some dignitaries. And they'll say, okay, we'll hook you up with the director of security to do the, the details, to finalize details, and they'll say director of security, a woman. Oh my gosh. So yes, I've had quite a few comments. So is it you, or is your boss around? Should we speak to the real director?
Right. And culture has a lot to do with that, right? You know,
It does.
obviously for the our audience is mostly in the US, but for anyone outside of the US, and there are obviously lots of countries that are similar to us, but there's also a lot of cultures that it's unheard of to have a woman in security position of authority.
But even in the US, I will say this because I have a unisex name in a way. I've gotten so many phone calls that says, "Can I speak to Mr. Curianus?"
Yeah.
My husband.
Wow.
And then I'll be like, "Sorry, he's not here right now, but can I help you? Can I speak to Min Curie?" "Oh, you want to speak to me?" "I'm busy." Hang up the phone. So, but it's I think it's a stereotype that happens as well. I think there's culturally there, but there's a stereotype about the type of work that you do that is more what people imagine that role to be, which is a man, not a woman coming in. So.
And on that note, Min, actually growing up, my parents and my friends would call me Chris. So I was Chris Alexander. The thing is, though, that I did get the comments as you. I can't sign off as Chris Alexander because everybody then expected to see a Mister. So I'm Christina once again, to make it very clear that this is a female in the role. But yes, it's this culture. The culture here in Greece is very traditional, as it is in most Eastern countries, Eastern Europe. It's also a challenge because sometimes you feel like you have to do double the work to make sure that you're at the standard. However, it's something that I truly love. I'm happy now with the comments. I like the expressions on the face. Oh, it's a female. Okay. The world is changing, and a lot of cultures are moving up to the next level and accepting females. And what I bring to the table is that I think that as a female, I must say that my team is mostly comprised of males. And I always, when I have such a huge team, I need to make it work. So I'll bring out, what each team member is good in. I'll resolve the differences. We'll do a lot of meetings, collaboration, focus on communication and collaboration, which is something that traditionally is not done in other teams. The people that work now in my team that used to report to a male director would say that, we'd never spend so much time, talking about us as people, trying to understand where everyone is coming from, trying to really come together as a team. And I think that this is perhaps a more female perspective on management and on teamwork. In order to build a team, you must have trust. And you cannot have trust unless you open up with each other and sit down on a table, communicate. And this is something that traditionally, many of the people that are working in my team would just be used to, getting their processes and procedures, their uniform, and saying, okay, I'm, working as a loner, in their shift, in their patrol. So I think that actually this industry, in the security industry, especially in hospitality, is a great place for a woman to flourish in security and to bring out these traits that have more to do with empathy and bringing a team together to bring the desired results.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Have you seen things change much now with the pandemic? Obviously things are changing all over the world, but for women in security, or even just in general security, how has it changed in Greece?
All right. Well, this is a great question. First of all, if I take it in the hospitality industry, we've seen huge losses globally in this industry. Hospitality and airline has been two of the industries that are the hardest hit. People have stopped traveling, not only because of government legislation that doesn't allow you to travel, but a lot of people are scared to travel. They're scared. Right. So this is very, very difficult. It's brought a whirlwind of change in the industry. On the other hand, though, security has been elevated in the field that I'm in hospitality. Health, safety, and security are now the top priority. in my job, it always was a top priority. But I see with colleagues, I do meet regularly on a monthly basis with security professionals here in Greece. Now we do it virtually, of course, but we see this mindset change. Security is now top of mind for everyone. Nobody's going to go shop somewhere unless they feel safe and secure. Nobody's going to eat somewhere. Nobody's going to, of course, go to a hotel anywhere or purchase anything in a brick and mortar shop unless they feel very safe. So that means we see added security measures across the board in every field, in every industry. I think this will continue. This will continue even with the vaccine, which is already out. I do think that it's going to take a while for people to really feel safe. So sometimes it's the placebo effect. You'll go in a store and you'll see a security officer doing a thermal screening, taking your temperature and doing, some kind of screening. This is also, making you feel safe that, people won't be able to enter this store or this establishment unless they've undergone some kind of screening. So this has changed everything in security. Here in Greece, we see a huge rise in security industry because a lot of organizations and companies that didn't have security officers before are now turning to security organizations to outsource security. In many instances, it's also mandated by law. So we did see a rise in the industry here in Greece. I think this is a trend that will continue, but also incorporating health and safety also in security is very, very important as well. And making sure that, wherever you are in the organization, the staff is also fully trained on the measures, and management has made it always a priority to be prepared. So my colleagues around Greece were telling me that in many cases, they would have crisis management plans, but they would never do a tabletop exercise. They would never, it was just a book somewhere that nobody would ever look at. But now
they're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And, pandemic is classic crisis management case.
Right.
But now it's, it's there, and management is making it a priority. So no longer is it just a book sitting somewhere. You have responsibility. There's shared responsibility in management. There's also some of the industry changes that we're seeing, at least in my field. I'm seeing a tighter security and IT operations cooperation.
Not surprising,
I don't know.
No, there is, because of, well, it's not just IT security, it's also the cyber side because of all the vulnerabilities
Exactly.
there. We're all at home now, utilizing Zoom to communicate with each other, not realizing that there's proprietary intellectual property that's built onto these, devices that we're using, and we're using I would say typically an unsecured network, or secure to a point where you're connecting to a corporate network. And, and all the other stuff goes along with it.
And you're also increasing the targets, right? So for those bad actors, you're just moving them out of the physical space and into the virtual space. And it's a lot easier for them to come after you when they're sitting behind a keyboard, right? So
exactly.
And usually
it's a good point.
They're a lot easier than targeting corporations.
100%. Well, that ends our last segment, and Christina, we loved having you. We're so happy that you were our first international guest. We definitely want to bring you back, so we'll book a couple more time slots. So if you're interested in hearing more from Christina, definitely stay tuned. If you want to connect with her, click the links below. And thank you everyone for joining. We will see you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye, y'all.